Now, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. AM 630.
It's 8:37 on the Morning Majority. We get to talk to my friend Chris Moody today, Yahoo News reporter. He covered the ABC Yahoo Republican debate. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Mary Catherine, thanks for having me on.
Sure thing. So this debate got quite a lot of audience being on a network. Do you think that anything in it was a, shall we say, overused term, game changer?
Well, I think we saw a big lesson about Newt Gingrich. This was his first night as the person that was going to be attacked the entire time, and I thought he skated by really well. I thought what was really interesting was they gave every candidate an opportunity to say what they wanted or to discuss infidelity in marriage. They gave every single candidate an opportunity to say something, and then ended with Newt Gingrich. And he wasn't destroyed by that. A guy with 3 marriages who has a past of infidelity. He seemed to make it by all of the attacks pretty well. But I think what you're probably getting at is the $10,000 bet question. Is that right?
Yeah, we ought to talk about that this morning.
That's what we're all talking about, which is interesting because you would think we'd be talking about attacks on Newt Gingrich. So there's evidence for it.
Yeah, I think that was a huge unforced error by Mitt Romney. In his defense, let's give him the benefit of the doubt for 1 second. It was probably just one of those things that, I'll bet you $1 million that you're wrong, right? Well, the problem with Mitt Romney is that $10,000 to him is just 0.005% of his net worth.
Yeah.
For Mitt Romney to bet you $10,000 is like a person worth $1 million betting you $50. If you follow me there,
right?
It's like a millionaire saying, "I'll bet you $50," and for Mitt Romney, that's what $10,000 is. So perception is everything in these things, and it just didn't look very good for him.
All right, but let me ask you, you look at the polls right now, Newt Gingrich is the guy that's clearly on top in the state of Iowa, but there's been some questions about the level of commitment he has on the ground there. I mean, if you talk to people about Iowa, they say, look, organization is really, really important. So given the fact that he's doing well in the polls, does that translate well to a good turnout on caucus day, given that he's, as some people say, not even in all 99 counties right now?
That's a really good point. He just set up his Iowa office a couple of weeks ago. I went in there last week, I believe it was on Tuesday, and they were still setting up their tables and chairs, still putting things up on the wall. They hadn't even plugged in their telephones yet. So you're right. They are working fast to kind of play some catch-up in the state. But, I think this election we're going to start to see if organization is still everything. I have a feeling things might have changed here where you can have a national presence and then not necessarily skip the organization, but not put as much of a focus on it. And I think we'll know January 3rd if that works. But you're right. He does not have as much organization as, say, Mitt Romney, even Rick Santorum, or especially Ron Paul, who's one of the most organized.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I want to ask you about Ron Paul. He has a tremendous organization, and he's polling a good solid second, as the last time I saw in the state of Iowa. What kind of showing do you expect Ron Paul to have, given all those factors?
I think we can certainly expect to see him in the top 3. But I'm telling people that it's not without the realm of possibility that he actually wins in Iowa, which I think will surprise a lot of people. I think it's a possibility. He's been quietly organizing in that state for so long. He can get people out to those caucuses. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying if it happens, let's not all be completely shocked. But I do think he'll be in the top 3, which is what he will need to continue on.
And just to follow up on that, what is it that about Ron Paul that you think resonates with the voters of Iowa so well?
Everyone I talked to was his consistency. You know exactly where he stands. You know where he's going to take you, and there's no question about it. And they also find him very genuine. Some of the social conservatives, however, have a bit of a problem with the idea that he won't take his ideas to the federal level. For example, he's against gay marriage. However, he won't pass a marriage amendment making it between just a man and a woman. He wants to leave that to the states. So they want him to take it federally, and as a libertarian, he wants to leave it to the local governments.
Now, Romney sort of thought that he could skate along, sort of be a little bit the presumptive front runner or nominee. And for the most part, all the non-Romneys sort of crashed and burned, and he was left to sit at the top. It looks like he may need a change of plans here, but there has been word that maybe the Romney campaign did not contemplate a Gingrich rise. Is there any signal that they may take a different tack moving forward?
Well, I think on Saturday was a real weather vane of whether Gingrich would be able to handle the attacks, and he did really well. I mean, if we look at Saturday as whether or not he's going to implode before January 3rd, it doesn't look like he will. Also, just a very subtle thing, if you look at Mitt Romney's body language in the debates, he has been like too cool for school, casual, hand in his pocket during the entire thing, every night except Saturday. Watch him on Saturday. He seems a little bit more on edge than I've ever seen him in the debate. So, I mean, that could be just a very small indicator of the idea that maybe the campaign is really starting to take things seriously. Also, look at the attacks that Romney has made on Gingrich in the past week. He's really stepped it up.
All right, so one of the things out of that debate that I noticed was that Rick Perry had a pretty good showing, maybe better than he's had in a while in a debate. So did Michelle Bachmann. Is there any chance that people might take a second look at those two, or is it just too late in the process? Have they pretty much washed out?
Well, I think with Bachmann's case, she's actually been a pretty consistently good debater the entire time, but I do think it might be a little bit late for folks to give these people a second look. However, remember John McCain, 2008, no one was thinking about him at this point in the campaign, and then he became the nominee. So, like I said with Ron Paul, in American politics, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. We also have a lot of heavy hitter conservatives telling everyone to take a second look at John Huntsman, and so I'm not even going to be surprised if we have a nominee in 2012 that is not Romney or Gingrich, but that's looking like who it will be. But we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris Moody. You can read him on Yahoo News. Thanks for being with us.